Welcome to news edition at LRC News, dateline 12th June. Opening lines, acknowledgements to Sahib for assisting me in reaching out to you all. First of the four stories I carry for you today is Justice Nanda requires the government to reconsider the appointment of a member to the Waqf board. The judge was dealing with a writ petition filed by Mushaddin Ali, an practicing advocate, who was unhappy with the appointment of M.A.K. Mukhid, a very well-known popular lawyer in the High Court, as a member to the TS Waqf Board, the Telangana State Waqf Board. He said that the whole issue was contrary to law, without the authority of law, and the procedural aspects in such appointments was followed in its breach. Justice Nanda agreeing, and without going into the merits as to whether M.A.K. Mukhid is good or not to be on the tribunal, on the board, required the government to reconsider the entire issue afresh in accordance with law. Justice N. Rajeshwar Rao of the Telangana High Court granted interim relief to 74 panchayat secretaries, all of who seek absorption in the services of the municipal services cadre after the relevant municipalities were merged, after their relevant gram panchayats were merged with the municipalities. The case of the petitioners is that the law as made by the government required them to make options. Such a government order was issued in 2022, which enabled employees of the Panchayat Raj department to opt either to remain in the Panchayat Raj department cadre or get into the services of the newly merged municipality. After the government took their options and was in the process of acting on their option for merger into municipal services, the government seems to have taken a U-turn in terms of the allegations made by the petitioners. The petitioners say that such an action of not merging them in the services of the municipality was contrary to the law laid down by the government itself. Very interestingly, they also say that not only were their services on the basis of their options not taken into consideration for merger, but persons who were non-regular employees and outsourced employees were being considered for regularization in municipal services, which they said was arbitrary and amounted to hostile discrimination. The judge ordered status quo in their case and gave them an interim relief. A complaint by S. Rajendra Reddy and another on the question as to whether a commercial building can be raised in a gated community came up for consideration before the State High Court. Justice B. Vijay Sen Reddy took the writ petition on file and directed the government and the civic authorities to respond. According to Mr. Rajendra Reddy and another, they are residents of Dewsville, a gated community at Narsingi, one of the posh localities in the outskirts of the city, would contend that a commercial complex was coming up in their gated community, which was contrary to law. Not only was it that a commercial complex was coming up, but the commercial complex was being raised in the area which was earmarked earlier for common amenities. The petitioners contend that common amenities is a part of the Article 21 right of people who live in the gated community, and the HMDA ought not to and could not have granted permission for any constructions. Earlier, a permission for construction of a residential premises was ordered. That was revoked, and now worse is the scenario, say the petitioners. Justice Vijay Sen Reddy would want the civic authorities and the HMDA, which granted permission, to respond in the petition. Justice J. Srinivas Rao granted bail to a 31-year-old person, businessman, in a case of alleged abetment of suicide. The youngster, Vishal Tiwari, was enlarged on bail on terms and conditions detailed in the bail petition. According to the petitioner, a suicide note by the suicide of one Rudolph Anthony led to a complaint by the widow of Rudolph Anthony, contending that the deceased had paid 4.5 lakhs to the petitioner on the condition that the petitioner would get him a job. Not only was the petitioner the recipient of the money, but it is alleged that he also forged a document of an offer letter, both of which ended, according to the lady complainant, in the husband committing suicide. The petitioner would contend that it was a made-up case, he was framed without reason, and that there was no connect between the suicide and therefore the allegations of abetment were not valid. Court also took into consideration that the petitioner has been in jail from April 2025 and that a considerable part of the investigation has been completed. On that note, with these news stories to you, I sign off. Thank you very much.